Chapter 22. I've only seen Mom cry a few times since Dad came home from the hospital. The first time was reading Mr. Norris's card. The second time, she was filling out insurance papers sitting at Dad's desk. When I walked in, her eyes were red and her cheeks were wet. There was no way either one of us could have pretended she wasn't crying. She held out her arms. "Come here, Benny," she said. Hugging someone who's sitting while you're standing is awkward, so we didn't do it for too long. I'm thinking about how Dad might not work again, and I just have to get used to that. Maybe it helps to say it out loud. Now I want to cry too. Except for a few years when George was young and I was a baby, both my parents have always worked. My mom as a landscape designer, my dad as an architect. A couple of times they've worked together on projects, and we went to visit them afterward. I know that's what Mom is thinking about now. Never standing again in the space they've both had a hand in designing. That plus money. I know she's thinking about money too. When we stop hugging, she picks up a hospital bill and shakes her head. "Can we pay it?" I ask. And I can guess the answer because she doesn't say anything. In some ways, Dad is better than he was after the first operation. He doesn't nap all the time. His balance is better. He walks around without a cane or too much help. He reads a little and writes too. He just can't talk at all, which means Mom is right. He won't be able to work. She doesn't want to cry in front of me, so she blows her nose and says, "We just have to get used to it, that's all." I wonder if having George in our lives will help this happen faster. Or if we'll feel the other way, like why are we the family that everything bad happens to? I think about a story my parents used to tell, how George was born with a big red birthmark on one cheek. It was raised and bumpy and so ugly that Dad took all of his baby pictures from one side, and Mom joined a support group for parents of infants with facial abnormalities. Then the birthmark faded, and now she talks about it like it's a funny story. Imagine me thinking that a birthmark would be George's biggest problem in life. I used to not understand why the story was funny. Now I think I do. Bigger problems put littler ones in perspective. Worrying about spelling tests and footprints seems stupid when I come home and watch Dad take 10 minutes to write down a question he wants to ask me. Today he holds the pencil balled up in his fist like we all did in kindergarten. It takes so much concentration his tongue sticks out. After 3 words he takes a break to think and then writes 2 more. Finally he shows it to me and I can't believe it. Want to ride bike at track.